Well, our top story this morning will get you talking. You're going to see what was deemed to be a fairly innocuous photograph of the Princess of Wales and her children, which was put out for Mother's Day, but it has erupted into a scandal.
Yeah, you just couldn't make it up, could you? Kensington Palace is under serious scrutiny today as the picture seen here has now been removed from at least 4 major photo agencies over manipulation fears.
Now, if you can spot the manipulations and what they mean, might be a prize in it for you, because I certainly can't see what the importance of all of this is. But the image, they do show the image may well have been photoshopped.
Well, it was released yesterday morning, of course, to try and stem all the speculation about the condition of the Princess of Wales since her abdominal surgery in January. But all it has done has sparked a new form of speculation.
Right, I want to see now how breathless the royal biographer Hugo Vickers is over this. Hugo, I'm not joking. I've looked at this and I've thought, what are they talking about here? But what am I missing, and how taken aback, if at all, are you by this?
Well, can I start by saying that you may remember that last week I asked on this very programme that we should have a nice photograph of the Princess of Wales with her children in the garden. And they must have already got that underway. And what a very nice idea it was to release it on Mother's Day, some 3 weeks before Easter, which was when we were told we'd get our next sort of official update about it. Now, the issue, of course, is twofold, really. Every photographer does manipulate pictures. I mean, I read Biography of Cecil Beaton, and I can assure you that a lot of the photographs he took of the royal family were seriously touched up. The Queen Mother once actually sent a photograph back and said Queen Elizabeth feels she hasn't been entirely untouched by the passing of the years. Could Mr. Beaton possibly remove some of the retouching? So that is just one point. But of course, the overall point why this is difficult is that this photograph is meant to reassure us that the Princess of Wales is well and happy, and it's a lovely picture. If it has been manipulated, then it does ask the question, you know, what else, when was it taken? People have said, oh, you know, the trees are too in bloom. Is it an old photograph? Have they sort of hooked it all up? And in which case, that's really quite serious and not attractive at all.
Do you think heads could roll over this? I mean, if I was the Princess of Wales, a horrible week for her last week. Not only was her uncle, embarrassing her, going into Big Brother, we had all of that drama, lots of speculation about her own condition, paparazzi photograph. Here we are, releasing this picture, hoping to quash everything. And now, I don't know about you, but social media has gone absolutely crazy. People messaging me going, are they splitting up? Where's her wedding ring? Was she even in that photograph? And it's just created a whole new hornet's nest for her.
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully she's just recovering quietly at home. But I do take the point. But can I just make another point, which you may not like, is that we're all very happy, apparently, to think this one is somehow tricking us. But what about that photograph of Prince Andrew with Virginia Roberts? Nobody seems to consider that that also might have been manipulated. I mean, I know people who've gone through that photograph with a tooth comb, and so the hand is in the wrong position, etc., etc. But I mean, I just think that it's a pity because we've lost confidence in the picture. That's the overall thing. That's the real point about that photograph. It was, as you say, meant to reassure us. And unfortunately, because of, I don't know, social media, because of people looking at Princess Charlotte's sleeve, there have been doubts raised, and we're now all worried about it.
But I mean, a lot of this is over my head until I start looking more deeply. And then there is a basic thing, Isabel, which you were very, very aware of. I wouldn't even have noticed this, but the Princess of Wales is not wearing a wedding ring in this picture, and that is a pretty shocking.
Well, yeah, I mean,
obvious...
Prince of Wales pulled out at short notice from a service last week in memory of his godfather. People are now asking, are there problems with the marriage? I mean, if this was an oversight, that is absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, a sackable offence. But is there something else to be concerned about? And that's the problem, I think, in all of this, isn't it, Hugo? That it's prompted more worrying concern about the, I wanted to call them the Waleses there, than it's actually helped to solve.
Well, I hope not. I don't think it's necessary for somebody to wear a ring when they're in their own garden. I mean, I'm sure she will be wearing her wedding ring next time she comes out in public, and probably the engagement ring as well. I mean, there could be many reasons why she wasn't wearing a ring. Hand could be slightly... whatever. But I agree, it's the optics, isn't it? That's the problem. The optics and the world in which we now live in, where everybody is very hostile and wants to pick faults with everything. And on this occasion, they've found things that they can pounce on. And so it's been counterproductive because the photograph, which, as I say, was meant to reassure us, has done completely the opposite. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that marriage. And we don't know why Prince William didn't go to King Constantine's service, but the chances are that something happened at home that he needed to deal with and stayed with his wife. Simple as that.
So out of 10, how concerned are you about what you're seeing here, 10 being the worst score?
No, 2 maybe. I think it's a sort of. I mean, you said should heads roll? Well, yeah. I mean, to some extent, the person who released this photograph, if the press people at Kensington Palace or whatever, should have spotted all these things and should have. Worked out that we live in a very world where people scrutinize things very, very closely, and therefore they have obviously failed because they've the possibility for speculation and undermining, which is a great shame. Yeah. Because when I saw the picture, I thought, this is exactly what I was hoping would happen. A lovely picture of the princess with her smiling children. Now, sometimes when you take a picture of 3 children with the mother, as I say, having written a biography of Cecil Beaton, I know perfectly well sometimes you have to replace one face so that you get them all smiling at the same time. Lots of photographers do that. Patrick Litchfield told me once that he photographed Joan Collins and handed his digital camera to his assistant and said, take her down 3 points. So... that's what they do.
But just to be clear, because, of course, you've dealt with the news agencies a lot in your capacity over the years. I mean, this is standard procedure. If they think that an image that they're pushing out to their customers, paying customers, if they think that that picture's been manipulated, they will use this term kill it, and they will not be providing it to their users because they can't, verify its origin. Is that correct? It's fairly standard procedure for these very highly respected news agencies.
Well, I don't understand that at all, actually. I've never had to deal with anyone apart from camera press, and I've never heard of this sort of thing before. But, I mean, the photograph is out there, whether it comes from one agency or another. So I don't know. It could be that they are stirring up trouble as well, to be honest. I don't really know. I can't answer.
Yeah, well, Hugo, thanks very much indeed for your take and your perspective. What we will do as the programme goes on... Thanks, Hugo.
Thank you.
What we will do as the programme goes on is highlight the 4 mistakes or so that there are in the photograph. Do you see them as mistakes? Do you see them as enhancements? There they are. I'm not really sure what we're supposed to be looking at there. What are we looking at, Isabel?
That's Princess Charlotte's sleeve on the top right of the screen. If you're listening on the radio, what you can see is half of her sleeve has started to blend with her skirt, which suggests that there's been some sort of altering. I mean, we see this a lot with people like the Kardashians who take an inch off their waist. It's very close, I should point out, to the Princess of Wales's hand, which, of course, has been the subject of more speculation as well. Louis's fingers are a little bit muddled. But actually, he's crossing his fingers there, bless him. But, there's lots of pictures that the Walesers have put out not that long ago. I can't think what was the recent occurrence there.
What's wrong with this? What's wrong with that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, personally, with this finger being crossed. It's just people are noticing little idiosyncrasies in the picture. No, as far as I'm aware, it's just the sleeve on Charlotte that there seems to be a problem. But the rumour mill is also focusing on the absence of a wedding ring and an engagement ring.
And what's wrong with his jumper there? What's that shot?
Can't see anything wrong with that either.
Well, I think this is all blown up out of proportion, personally, but your views are very welcome this morning. What do you think of all of this? gbviews@gbnews.com.